So Tron Ares was pretty wild. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but it also wasn't a good movie, right? But so before I get into this review, I want to say that the world of Tron I was very confused on, you know. So first for starters, Tron is a person. He was the security program in the first film. He was also like the partner in the second film before he turned evil and just had a helmet on the whole movie. And in the third film there is no Tron, but Tron is a character. And I had watched Legacy, of course, before going to see Ares. And, you know, in watching Legacy, I'm like, okay, you know, they showed, you know, they bring up the character Tron. The city is, you know, the grid. It's Kevin Flynn's version of the grid. I want to assume that in the original, because I ended up seeing the original after Ares, the original's grid, I guess, is like Ed Dillinger's grid, but I'm not sure how exactly you create these grids necessarily. But also, it is a Disney movie. This is a Disney property, so it is kind of whimsical and magical in a sense, because we're just seeing circuits and wires and programs and software as people in human form versus just the codes and lights and flashes that they are. For what it's worth, you know, Legacy was a pretty good movie. So going into Ares, it's very surprising that they didn't stick with the conclusion of Legacy, because Jeff Bridges' character kind of blows up the world. He blows up his grid. And then in Ares, you start on a new grid. And I was wondering, like, how are they on a grid or a backup grid? Where did his grid come from? But again, I didn't really think of it in the sense that, yes, we are perceiving, you know, this in human form. So with that in mind, the characters were lame. The plot was dumb. They didn't follow up on anything left off in Legacy. I mean, both Olivia Wilde and Garrett Hedlund are still around. I mean, Olivia Wilde's still gorgeous. I mean, you know, there's something I noticed about all these posters of them and why this one flopped so hard. First two had men and women on them, and I had a guy holding up his disc with a beautiful woman next to him, and now it's just Jared Leto looking straight at you. But, you know, Olivia Wilde still looks fantastic. She's doing stuff. Garrett is in Tulsa King, which is pretty wild. So, I mean, there's no reason they could have just brought them back and continued the story from Legacy and made it a legit Legacy sequel, you know, to the Legacy sequel that it was. You know, anyway, it would have been awesome. But so the movie was not that good in response to all of that, but it was still fun to watch. I can understand, you know, younger kids liking it. It is unfortunate that they're not going to make a third movie because it does end on this cliffhanger. But for what it's worth, I enjoyed it. But yeah, I definitely like Legacy better, you know, now in watching the two. And I definitely think the original Tron still holds up, even with its cheesy computer graphics. But because of that movie, if you didn't see the first Tron, you wouldn't really understand Tron Ares, considering the way that Tron Legacy ends, because Tron Ares sets up already on this new grid, this new reality with a new master control. And it's like there was no master control in Legacy. It was just Clue. And now you have floating head that kind of resembles the original floating head in Tron, and you have the actual master control as the original master control that's supposedly the master control from the very first one as well. So it was a lot of, why are they changing all of this to make it fit today's standard of, like, I don't know, trying to make this like an action-packed spectacle. But it was interesting. But so the film follows Jared Leto, right, as master control, and he is just so lame, right? It's literally about a program starting to have feelings, starts to develop these feelings somehow, even though they're programs and they can actually feel. You know, they're created by Jullian Dillinger, who is the grandson of Ed Dillinger Jr., who was actually Cillian Murphy's character in Legacy, which is hilarious, because where's the sequel in between? Like, there should have been a movie in between Ares and Legacy, where Ares should have been the third one, but in between, Cillian Murphy's in it, and it's a way better movie than Ares still. But it's now his son, which, you know, Cillian Murphy's character was the son of Ed Dillinger from the first movie. So it's like, it's a lot of weird shit that they're just like moving around and mishmashing around just to put this film. I don't know why they would make the film considering Legacy. Like, it just didn't make sense. But pretty much the whole movie is Jared Leto's program feeling, like developing feelings and being able to actually have a conscience, I guess, and think for itself and go against its command. It's a fucking program. Like, you type it in and hit enter. There's no, like, when you type in a website and hit enter, it doesn't like not go to that website. The website's like, nah, you know what? I'm not really feeling it. But it's just outrageous because these are all programs. They're not actual people. They're not beings. Yeah, he does have his Pinocchio moment and becomes a real boy, but for real, like, gosh, like going through like the digital dude, you know, if you didn't see the first Tron, you wouldn't have got any of the references or any of really much of the story beats for Ares. It's solely based off of the first movie, or at least a lot of the, you know, the elements are from the first movie, minus the whole permanence code and wanting to be permanent. And, you know, that's all, I guess, kind of random because Clue was just trying to go through to come out. They should have had Clue come out, you know, they had him come back. I mean, you might as well de-age Jeff Bridges again. Why not? You already have the likings, just a little bit, look a little bit more polished, be like a video game or like Alien Romulus, you know. But it was just, yeah, it was just kind of outrageous. You know, the whole master control element was pretty it was pretty dumb because he's a program. You know, at least in the first one, the master control actually tries to take over like the Pentagon. Like, it actually tries to take over the company. You know, this is just, I just want to live. And the whole, like, they're able to create these simulations for like 29 minutes and then they digitize away. It's like they're not human, but they feel like it. They like cry out and they die. It's like, why? Like, it's just so bad. It's a very interesting take on the whole universe of the grid, because I don't want to say the Tron universe because Tron was a character. So the whole history of these grids is just weird that all of a sudden you can, you know, I guess, yeah, you can be digitized into it because they end up having a gun that can fucking beam you into the grid, which is outrageous. But now these programs actually are becoming sentient. It's just, why? You know, it's a little much. And in those 29 minutes of all the sequences throughout the movie, like, everything happens in way more than 29 minutes. I'm sorry. There's no way that all the sequences where they say you got 29 minutes, that everything happens within a 29-minute period, because there's just no way. There's no fucking way. Maybe, you know, maybe. What do I know? I don't know. I'm not a Time Lord. But still, it's like, it's outrageous. It wasn't a good movie. Having the other character, Athena, become the new master control because Ares disobeys his command, she ends up taking over. It was just like, what? Like, really? All right, fine. Her program is just built to the T. Women do it better. Like, she's not gonna falter last minute either, you know, even though she feels rain and kind of freaks out temporarily, only to then, you know, not be able to kill the main character. Oh, so convenient. It's like, right, when you're trying to zap them away. Oh man, it was a hell of a movie. And, you know, after I saw it, when I was like, I gotta watch the first Tron to see like where it all began. And then it's like, oh wow, this all makes sense now. This all makes sense. But yeah, so Tron Ares, it was whatever. Like I said, it feels like it should have been the third movie and polished way more and like polished off way more and like actually like, I don't know, like there should have been a movie in between Legacy and Ares that had, you know, Garrett and Olivia reprise their roles and have something happen to where it leads into the Dillinger backup system, into Jullian being like, you know, the head of the company. Because at the end, he's supposed to become Sark, and it's like, okay, because he fucking didn't want to pay for his crimes against humanity or using cyberspace, and so he decided to zap himself into cyberspace, and it's just, what? Oh man, but yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, and I know everyone's hating on it and saying it's so bad, and I agree, but it was fun to watch. It was fun to look at. If there was another actor in it, it probably would have been way better. Even if it was Tom Cruise, you know, it probably would have been better. But okay, maybe not Tom Cruise, but it would have been better. But it's Tron Ares. It was what it was, and they don't even get me started on the motorcycles. You know, you can't tell me no one else was behind that cop car. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, those beams are still going, and they're all throughout the city at one point. So, oh gosh, oh yeah, there was a lot wrong with this movie. What we're talking about, but this has been Ghost in the Craig. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.